Hey there, welcome back. It's Louisa Munson, and these are the last two parts, I think, of this Getting Married series, which is also part of the Venus series, where I've been recording something new every day for 40 days and 40 nights during the Venus retrograde in 2023. I think I'm a little bit behind by a few episodes, but we'll get there in the end. So anyway, in the previous episodes of the wedding playlist, I guess what I've been doing, let's just summarize. I've been looking through 4 months worth of dates to find 3 or 4 good dates for some good friends and clients to get married on. So they're wanting to get married within a 4-month range. And so in the previous 6 episodes, I've shown you the different steps that I take as an astrologer to find the absolute perfect date to get married on. This is the exact same thing that I did for myself and my husband, and that I've done for other clients. And it's quite a big search, and yet it's so much fun. I really like it. I guess it must be a bit like why midwives love working with babies and things like that. I feel like I feel the excitement of new love and the cementing of love and the joining of love. I love it. I think it's great. So it's a real joy for me to do this. Now, in the previous episodes, the first one was showing you how to use the ephemeris if you're unfamiliar with that. The second episode was about eliminating the retrogrades. We got rid of Mercury retrograde, Venus retrograde, and Mars retrograde. We just took those out of our search. We also noted which days there were changing planets on, because they sometimes have a bit of a sort of changing energy. You don't necessarily want that in a wedding chart, where you want stable energy and calmer energy. So we did that. Then we looked at getting rid of Venus and the Moon when Venus and the Moon were in her detriment or fall. So, we looked, for instance, at when Venus was in the sign of Scorpio and eliminated that. And then in the following episode, we looked at when Venus and the Moon were kind of highlighted, were absolutely in their most beautiful state. So, we were paying attention, for instance, when Libra was in the sign of when Venus was in the sign of Libra, and also when the Moon was in the sign of Cancer and also Taurus. So, we've taken out the weak Venuses, we've taken out the retrogrades, and then we've boosted those dates or paid attention to the dates where the Venus and the Moon were absolutely highlighted. And then from that, we had this, sorry if you can hear a 4-year-old in the background excitedly screaming about something. He's playing with his siblings. I then did a short list. So I went through all of the dates and then kind of rated them as to which ones I thought was good. And at the same time, I also looked at whether there was a void moon, like the moon void, of course. That's something we don't really want in a wedding chart. And then I also paid a bit of attention to something that you don't really hear many astrologers talk about, but it's the moon's last aspect. And I think it's always worth getting. So, for instance, if you're getting married and the moon's in Pisces, you want to look at the last aspect the moon makes when she's in Pisces, just after your wedding date, to see what aspect she makes, because it kind of gives, I think, a lingering idea of how you may well resolve things that are emotional in your relationship. And so my husband and I, when I was looking for our wedding date, I found a beautiful moon, and the last aspect made by the moon was to Venus in a sextile. And so even when the shit has hit the fan between me and Mr. M, because we've been married, we've been together quite a long time now. We've been married 10 years actually this year, and there are ups and downs. We've migrated to another country. We've got 3 kids. There's all sorts of variables. You have your ups and downs. But no matter what happens, we're always able to find that place of companionship and actual genuine love and respect for each other. And I really put that down to the Venus in a sextile to the moon as the moon's last aspect. So there's a lot of different things we've done, or I've done, to find the perfect date for my friends to get hitched. And so now let's bring on the research I've done. Let's just bring it on. That would be the easiest thing to do. So you might remember, if you've seen these before, that I've been filling in this spreadsheet. And so the dates that I have selected are the 9th of November, the 2nd of December, the 3rd of December, the 4th of December. I see these ones as being really great dates. The other ones which were picked out, the 19th of January, the 24th of January 2024, the 15th of February and the 20th of February, when I actually looked at those charts, they had a very strong wild card element to them. You know, for instance, you know, like I think we had conjunctions with Uranus and also Pluto, which may well suit this couple that I'm talking about. But I want to send them the absolute best dates first. And if they don't like those dates, then we can revisit these dates. And if they don't like these ones, then I can also go back to, you know, we had like, when I created the list, I think in episode 5, roughly, you know, I did say we're going to go for the best dates first, and we've got these as alternate dates, and then we've got these dates and then these dates. So I've got another 2 lists that we can still look at. But anyway, I graded them as to which order I thought they went in, and I thought the 9th of November was important, and the 3rd of December looked really good, and then the 2nd and 4th of December, you know, were next in line. But how is this going to change? So in this episode, what I'm doing is I'm going to be comparing these dates to the chart of our bride. And in the following episode, we're going to be looking in terms of comparing it to the groom. Now, just before we go there, I just, you know, in a previous episode, I have been talking about aspects that showed up in the charts of 3 happy couples that have been together for a really long time. And I made a list of what transits were happening to their natal planets in their birth charts. So, for instance, Juno came out really, really highly in this marriage research that I did. Venus was next in line. Saturn came up very, very strongly. For instance, Saturn, I noticed, was one of the things that was crossing an angle in a few of the wedding charts. And, you know, Saturn is the thing that cements a deal. You know, it is, you know, bringing in an official partnership. Pluto also played a part, the North Node, and also Chiron. And so with this in mind, when I'm looking at each of these charts, so the bride's chart against a particular day, what I'm noticing is how many of these kinds of things are happening, and also how many links. So let's have a look. And also, you know, just, I think it's also worth noticing that in a previous episode about meeting the love of our life, we often had transits to the 5th, the 7th, the 4th, and the 1st, and a lot of things highlighting Venus. Anyway, so this is the bride's chart in the middle. This is a synastry chart, actually. So I'm comparing her birth chart to the time of sunset in Hawaii on the 9th of November 2023, because I think they're wanting a sunset wedding. Now, the first thing I noticed where we've got connections, and some of them are more conjunct or more exact than others, I noticed pretty much straight away that there was this lovely Jupiter. Jupiter was transiting over her south node on the 9th of November, or will be transiting her north node on the 9th of November. That's pretty dreamy. The south node can represent, you know, somebody from the past that we've known before. And I do think with this couple that there is this feeling that they've been together, not just once before, but many times. You know, there's this sense that they know each other. So that seemed quite strong. And then on that particular day, the moon is in a conjunction with Pluto, showing that something big is also happening. But also Juno is coming into an alignment with her Mars and her moon. And then Venus it's separating, but it is technically still in a conjunction with Juno. So there's quite a few of those links. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 links. She's got something crossing her angle. Now, Chiron is crossing her midheaven. And because Chiron's a slow-moving planet and her midheaven isn't changing anytime soon, Chiron is going to be over her midheaven on all of these dates. And that's, I think, signifying that something really big is happening to her or for her, with her. So that is the planet that's crossing her angle. Then she's also, so I've noted it as she's got a Chiron thing going on. She's got 1, 2, 3, 4 Juno things going on, a couple of things involving the moon, and one thing involving Venus. So it's a fairly strong day, but let's see what the others are like. So on the 2nd of December, there's a lot more connections, as you can see down here. So Chiron's still here, Jupiter's still over her south node. It's a bit closer, actually. And then Juno, which was here before, is now right over target. Juno is in a conjunction with her Mars and her Venus, and is not a million miles away from her actual Juno. She's also got the Sun and Mars right over her Neptune. Remember, Neptune's another one of those romantic planets. The vertex, which is kind of like what life is asking you to get involved in, is right over her North Node. And her Venus is very close to Uranus. So there's a lot going on there. I think I've covered all that. Yeah. And then when I sort of rated it, I said there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 links. 1 angle crossing, 2 Chiron links, because there's one there, and there's Jupiter. Yeah, interestingly, Jupiter's going backwards, retrograde at this point, and it's getting into an alignment with Chiron. Juno is making 2 links. The moon, there's 2, and Venus, we've got 2 going on there. So it seems like a stronger day than the 9th. The 3rd of December now, obviously the 2nd, 3rd and 4th of December are going to bring out a similar story, but there will be some changes because of the moon. So in this one, we don't have the moon in a conjunction with Venus as it was before. Now the moon is not in a conjunction with anything. But as you can see, the moon moves around 13 degrees a day. And if we go like one more day, it should be here. So the 4th looks pretty immense. We've still got the sun in a conjunction with Neptune, more exact this time. I think there was another change that I noted. Maybe not. So it's a kind of similar story. It's one less link because the moon is not conjunct Venus. And obviously that's quite a good connection. So I've said 9 links there. And then for the 4th of December, she's got Chiron in a conjunction with her midheaven as before. Jupiter's even closer to the south node in Chiron. The Juno conjunct Mars and moon is so much tighter. And now we've got the moon conjunct Mars and the moon again, which is tight. So it's actually got an extra link in there because the moon, it was there yesterday, not linking to anything. And now it's in a conjunction with Juno on the actual day, which makes the day stronger, but it's also connecting to Mars and the moon. So that's got 11 links. So when I considered all of that and I popped the amount of links in, you can see the 9th looks actually weaker. And my 3rd and 4th place actually looks stronger from the bride's perspective. So it would be interesting to see what happens with the groom. So in this next episode, I'm going to do the same process, only this time for the groom, so that we really get a chance to compare. Now, we might find that, they have opposite patterns and things like that going on, in which case it's a bit like, what are we going to do? Now, one thing I do know about well-bonded couples is they tend to have similar areas of their charts highlighted. And I haven't actually looked at these guys' charts together as part of this process, but maybe we'll do that when I get through this series. We'll actually look at their synastry and their composite chart and what was going on for them too. And I will also report back, when I know more about the eventual date that they do choose. And also I will show, like when they've chosen their date, I'll show the refining of the time, because, you know, we might want to mess around with the ascendant ever so slightly, because that can really make a big difference. So anyway, hopefully see you in the next session where we'll look at the groom's charts. Thanks for watching.